Shameless plug incoming. Today's episode is brought to you by the book Everyone is a Sinner But Me, available now at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Pre-recorded from Volpes Studios, it's the MCS1 show, and now your host, MCS1.
Welcome everyone to another exciting edition of the MCS1 show. Today, we got a super special show for all of you. So I got two very special guests reporting in via satellite. I got...
Wait, is this episode going to be more special than normal?
Maybe. I think so.
I think it is.
I think it is, definitely. Every episode is special and unique in its own little way. Right?
Exactly.
I got Casey William Walker here.
Hey.
And then I got Mikey Watkins as well.
Hey.
Welcome, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again. It's been a while, right?
Yeah. And you both been on the show before. So
yeah.
This is interesting. This is so cool. So
Never done a three-way on here before. This is sweet.
yeah, you've done a four-way where you've had, gosh, it sounds so bad, where we were doing our little At the Movie series with Merlin and Cameron.
Oh yeah. No, that's right. We did that.
Yeah, we did that, and long time ago, about over a year now. But today
it was, huh?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But today we're talking about something really cool. Today we're going to be talking about the book that I wrote that Casey illustrated and Mikey colored. We're going to be talking about Everyone is a Sinner But Me. And this is the book that we advertise like beginning of every show. I plug it. I'd love for people to buy it. You know, that type of thing.
This is the book that will change your attitude or confirm your attitude towards a certain type of person.
Yes, so true. The people of Happy Valley. So let's kind of get into it. Today I want to talk about like the origins of this book, what each of you did, and kind of what this book stands for, and just stuff like that. I've been wanting to do this show for like, gosh, I want to do this for like a year and a half.
Oh yeah, because it's almost the 2-year anniversary, right?
It's over the 2-year anniversary.
Oh, it's over it. Holy
it's
smokes.
over just barely. I think November, or early November sometime is when it hit. I don't know the exact day, but it doesn't really matter. But we are over the 2-year mark for it. But
nice.
Yeah, congratulations, everyone. We did it. We didn't get shut down.
Go team.
So before it was 2 years ago, before it was released, you had been talking to me about this for like a year already, right? Like was it like 2 years?
It was like, it was. I think it was a year before. I think
something like that. It sounds about right.
Or maybe it was that summer before too. I think it was that summer, because here's how it happened, and we'll get right into the story time and exposition of this. So during the summer, Casey and I and Merlin and occasionally our friend Steve Brady we would have barbecues at Casey's old place, which we refer to as brobecues.
Barbecue Wednesday. It was usually on Wednesday, wasn't it?
It was usually on Wednesdays, yeah. And we would I would wear like fitted flat billed hats and a polo with the collar popped. And
I would be purposely dressed like that for
and I would be like,
a barbecue.
And I would just be completely stupid. And we were doing this like once every week or every 2 weeks or something like that for summer.
It was pretty frequent.
It was pretty frequent. And it was so ridiculous, but it was like so much fun. And there was always like different meat for those who ate meat. And I always had a soy burger. And like we just had a blast because we had this grill on your deck. And man, Merlin and I have debated several times about going back to your old place and stealing that grill. Like so many times.
You
Like
probably could have just found a free one online, I bet.
probably, but that grill was special. I mean, if I ever
It
go
was.
back to Utah for any reason, I'm pretty sure that grill's still there, and I'm tempted still to steal it.
Oh, I bet it's still there.
Oh, yeah. So we were having these brobicues, and we would just shoot the breeze and talk and vent about Happy Valley, the common thing that I do like everywhere I go, even when I'm not in Happy Valley. And
Well, it's the best thing to declare and proclaim to the world about how terrible sometimes it is.
yeah, and so we would do that, and then like I remember it was a time where I was around like a particularly like overly judgmental group of kids, like by I had just kind of gotten out of the Riviera apartments where it was really bad, and I moved into
Yeah, that place is bad because that
yeah.
place made me rip some pants, and so I hate that place.
So um so I was just like, I don't know, kind of coming down about the anger I got while at the Riv, because it was kind of an
Right.
angering place. Mikey, you lived there.
Yes. I try not
Um
to talk about it. It's that bad.
really.
Again, I'll agree with you on the anger thing.
Yeah,
Riviera, oof,
because
pants, of course.
I remember when I left there, like being my first nights back at Crestwood, because I lived at Crestwood before, moved to the Riv, and then I moved back. I remember my first nights at Crestwood and just feeling better about myself. Like I didn't, and it took like a week or two to realize that living at the Riviera right next to BYU, my self-esteem had like plummeted, and I
Oh
felt
yeah,
very, very little self-worth about myself just from being around the area. Like it's extremely toxic, and the kids there are like mostly terrible. Grant, I had a really great group of friends while I was there, but that doesn't negate the crap that was like around me.
oh of
True.
course not. No, I mean I went through like similar things.
You were right across the
When
street,
I was,
Glenwood.
oh yeah, no, I was right across the street, and I was going through some of the same stuff, just some of the craziest people you talk to,
Yeah,
and they
and
just make you feel so terrible.
yeah, and
This is amazing.
so I was coming down from that, and I wanted a creative outlet for my anger, and I started thinking about some of the kids or whatever, and I was starting to think about the Happy Valley Hate series a little bit, just kind of spinning around in my head, which has now become the staple of this show. Um, and so there was like one night, I don't know what it was, but like I woke up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and it was just really odd. And I just started writing, and I wrote a poem, and that poem was just basically about an overly judgmental person who
Uh-huh.
was better than everyone else, and just because like they've lived a very sheltered life, and now they're like just gonna judge everyone for no reason, kind of thing, because that was the culture. And um, and then I went to a barbecue like later that week with you and Merlin, and I read it, and that was like a rough draft of everyone is a sinner but me, and you were just like, dude, that's really really good.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that was when it was it was pretty long, that one. Like it was probably what the book is now. It was probably like double that, wasn't it?
yeah, it was about double that. Lot of other stuff, and I was because there was a lot
It
of
was a
things.
list.
Yeah,
It was
there's
a
a
big
list
list.
list of
It was a
things
big list.
to judge people for that don't matter, and that's pretty much what the book is. Like that's the thesis of the book, the point. And so we went through and we talked about that. And you're like, dude, we should make a book about that. And I was like, yeah, And as time went on, we're like, we actually went and we did it. We did it like kind of around the time I was working at a tech company, and that's when we finally just decided, hey, let's really just roll with it. And then we started cranking it out. Like you started cranking out drawings, and And then I got in touch with Mikey, got the coloring done, and then a while later the book got published. So that's kind of like the really basic story of this book. But what I want to talk about first is Casey,
Yeah.
and your the drawings that you did, the illustrations. Do you want to talk a little bit about those, like how you wanted Steve to look, the main
Yeah, I mean,
character, and things like that?
yeah, well, I mean, we kind of talked about what who Steve is and what kind of character he is. And so, I don't know, I basically modeled him after the perfect looking, I don't know, kind of stereotypical
BYU wiener.
religious BYU wiener. BYU scum. No.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I kind of just modeled him. He's got his hair combed over. He's got some glasses. Got a polo shirt. He's well dressed, well maintained, clean cut. Basically,
Not super into shape either. He's kind of on the skinnier side.
Yeah, just kind of little scrawny
Wiener.
Clean cut BYU wiener.
He's just laughing at the word wiener.
Well, and so I drew this character and basically the illustrations. You gave me some notes on kind of what you were looking for each page, and I tried to just take it and run with it and come up with some new ideas and kind of make it my own. And a lot of the I don't know, a lot of the images, I try to put some subtle content in there, which is kind of my favorite thing. Like the guy walking away with the tears, he's crying and he's got a letter in his bag that says eulogy for mom. So his mom just died, but Steve, the main character, is just sitting there judging him because the guy's got a beard.
And I love
beard on BYU.
Yeah, so. I love the subtlety that you did too, to be honest. Like a lot of it's like the little things that matter, and every illustration has like something little in it for the most part.
Oh yeah, try to put that in, because I mean that's really what I think the whole book kind of comes down to, is just the subtlety of how ridiculous just the big picture is just so crazy, and the things this guy is judging these people for is just so outrageous. He's not like looking into the real lives of these people. He's just looking on their outside appearance, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so great, is with people like on an everyday basis, and we all kind of judge whether we like it or not. But there's a difference between judgment and like what happens in Provo.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like everybody does judge, but like this, it's all on a whole nother level down there. Like you kind of just have to be there or read the book.
It's insane, like so much, and like this sounds really crazy, but you can feel it.
Oh yeah, no, you can, and I think I don't know. I think just like with what you wrote in the book, really just illustrates exactly what goes on down there. And I was pretty happy with how the pictures turned out, but I think they really came alive when Mikey did all the coloring for him, because he just brought this great color palette to it that just really makes everything pop.
Yeah, Mikey.
Yeah.
Let's go to you.
All right.
So when I got a lot of questions for Mikey on this, because you didn't quite have like the immersion that Casey and I had, because him and I were talking about this for months. We were texting about it. We were like, we'd meet up, and when we'd hang out, we'd discuss it. We were like heavily into this, and then we're like, hey, Mike, you want to color it? and like when I brought you,
I didn't want to color it.
Yeah, and I thought about it with me coloring it for a little bit, but I really didn't think that was my strong point. I liked doing a lot of the font placement within the book. I felt that was my strong point. The like the publishing, that, and I already wrote it. So I didn't think coloring was like really what I wanted to do. But I thought it would be funny to have you do it, Mikey, because
Because
one
why?
because why?
Because I'm actually colorblind.
Yeah, well, that's the one reason. Well, but the main reason was I knew you were really you're very artsy, and at this time you were going to the Art Institute in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think Mikey would be really good because I thought about a lot of different people that I could have colored this because I know a fair amount of artists that I really considered. One was Brianna. Um, I considered her. If Brianna's listening right now, she's probably going to be really mad. So
She didn't
yeah,
make the cut. Sorry, bro.
but she didn't make the cut. Freaking Brianna did not make the
Sorry.
cut, and now she and now
That's,
she
now it's public information.
and now she owns a paint gallery. So
Oh,
the
well, okay. She's not too bad.
no, she's not. She's not doing bad at all. But so we brought you in, and I didn't tell you much about the project, from what I recall. I told you a little bit, but I don't think I gave you a copy of the words that I was putting to the text because first we had Casey draw it, then we scanned in like the actual paper drawings, and then
Yeah.
from there we sent them to you to have you color them.
Yeah.
So what was your like first impression when you got these drawings and like when I told you about the project?
Well, okay. Pause. Back up a little bit. I remember getting a phone call. I was living in Salt Lake City. It was a really warm. I remember like pacing up and down the parking lot of the apartment complex that I lived in. That's just what was happening while I was on the phone. And I remember you telling me about this project that was it. It spoke to me
Yes.
based on what I had heard, and I was like, this is golden. But I remember asking a little bit about like more detail about the project itself, like the storyline and the history behind it. But um, I remember asking more questions about if I remember this right, asking more questions about like, are you sure you want to use me? I have studied. I do have this history, and I do know this, and I do know colors. You do know I am colorblind, right? But I have practiced.
I remember this, and I was just like, "Yeah, Mikey, you're the guy. You're the guy."
Yeah. So actually, yeah. And then I remember getting the files and looking at them. And shout out, by the way, those designs, the drawings were so clever and like the subtleties in there just made it like so multidimensional, and it was just it was a blast to look at and to test with different colors and stuff like that.
Oh,
But
thank you.
yeah, no, thank you. That it was seriously, it was super enjoyable. I remember looking at them and thinking, um, I remember I got them all out of order, and I wanted to to know a little bit more about like the order and potential like color palettes to go through. And so I remember submitting a couple of drafts here and there, and then Mark, you would um, get back to me and respond, I want this color to be a little bit more like this, and so I would adjust it throughout the pages. And
Yeah,
I
we
want,
we tried to go with mostly fairly neutral colors, like nothing really crazy.
yeah,
And that's kind of where what I am a little bit like with colors that I wear, colors around my living spaces. And that's what I wanted from my book, and I knew you'd be able to capture that,
thank you,
and you
thank you.
totally did. Like, great job.
Oh yeah, no, because it's like the colors are. I'd say it's like a pastel um, type tone, and it just really works with what it is.
Thank you. It was a learning experience for sure. I'd never um, done colors in a book or done anything published in book form, but and so I the first week was was an adjustment period on how to get into the mindset of pages and books and something to be printed and it has dialogue with it, and it was a different mindset, but it was super fun once I got the hang of it, and it was just like suddenly this world was open to like, well, this could be anything. And so I don't even know if you guys know this, but I put myself in the book. There's a
Yeah,
page.
I was about to bring this up. I was like, is there any little Easter eggs you want to share, Mikey? Wink, wink. I noticed this. I love this. Go on.
Yeah, so I'm not looking at the page right now, but there is a page where there's a party and there is
Everyone's drinking soda.
drinking soda. It is very lighthearted, harmless madness. and and I put my wife in there. She's the redhead. And
Okay.
Mark, can you describe what the redhead is doing? I want to make sure I get this right before I say.
Let me see. I actually don't have the book in front of me.
I'm looking at it right now. I can tell you what she's doing.
Yeah, do that. I oddly enough, I have my book at my place of employment, my copy, and I have it
just on your table so everyone just read it.
Yeah, like on my top shelf, I got my degrees, and then below that, I have a copy of this book, and then I have a mock-up cover that Jordan Huey made for me of a book we're eventually going to collaborate on called "You Are Bad at Everything."
Oh, I love that. You need to finish it because
I do. It's more on me than Jordan. But go on, describe this party scene.
Yeah, so what's the redhead doing?
Oh, so the redhead, she's got a cup full of soda, and it's about 6 inches above a dude's face, and the guy's just got his mouth wide open, and she's just pouring it in, and he's just like just drinking that soda.
Yes. Yes, that is very reflective of my life right now. I just do as my boss says. I drink what she tells me to drink. I work, I make the money, she spends it, and all I have to do is work. I just do what she says. And so I inserted that in there because I thought, why not? I'm in charge of the colors.
Yeah, it's great.
And it kind of looks like you too.
So
not like a ton, but enough.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was those are your colors. That's awesome.
And the interesting thing is, it was just pure chance with this whole thing. That Mikey was kind of like put in like that because you two have never really interacted with each other.
No, we haven't.
As far as I know, you've both been in the same room at the same time only once. And that
sounds about right.
And that is the Halloween party that we threw at Casey's place. Like back in the day or whatever. And we played we played root beer pong, and we were like out in the living room. There was like the stereo just playing stuff. It was mostly like stuff Casey
Monster Mash.
Yeah, Monster Mash.
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, it was all this music Casey didn't want to hear, and every time we would play it, people would just go nuts.
It was harmless madness.
It really was, and it was like a really cool party. Afterwards, we went out and like smashed pumpkins in the backyard.
It was our annual pumpkin bash, which only happened for 1 year. So
I know, seriously,
it was a cherished moment.
It was awesome. But so you guys haven't really like interacted much, and so to see Mikey like somewhat drawn in here without just ran like just having being like kind of like a chance thing, I think that's awesome. Like,
oh yeah, that's great.
Thanks for the opportunity. It was me a blast.
So speaking of like being drawn in, I think one of my little favorite things about this book is not just like the book itself, but I love at the end there's like an about the authors area, like about the me, Casey, and Mikey, and each of us have like a little paragraph where we talk about ourselves, and then there's like a section about Steve as well, which is ridiculous. But my favorite thing is all of us are there and like drawn out within this animation style that Casey does, and we're all there, and Steve is judging us
because we're standing on grass, and there's a sign that says "Keep off the grass." He's judging us for that. Plus,
and
he's spray painting the ground. So
yes, my and my favorite thing about that picture is originally when Casey drew it, it was just Casey and I being judged. Because originally we thought I was going to color it, and then or I thought he was going to color it, and then as time went on, we're just both like, nah, neither of us are going to color this thing. And eventually we added Mikey to it, and so I asked Casey after he was done, and Mikey was like coloring. I said, hey man, could you like please draw Mikey? I want to add him in. And I don't remember who came up with the idea to have him spray paint on the grass.
Well, I think I had him spray paint because I was like, I don't know, how do you demonstrate that someone's
coloring
like
something?
Colorist, coloring something. So I was like, oh, I guess it's just spray paint. It's coloring the grass.
Yeah, and it was just perfect. And then we photoshopped it in, and it just looks so beautiful. Like I'm just leaning on Casey, because we're pals. Casey's holding like a pen and like a notebook for drawing, and then Mikey's just spraying on the grass, which is ridiculous. Like what type of kid just takes spray paint and just sprays it on the grass? Like the absurdity of it is hilarious, and that's I think why I love it. And the thing that's even better is we're all smiling in that picture. We're like we're happy.
We're having a good time. We're having a good time. And Steve's just back there, just filled with hate in his heart, just judging us about the grass thing.
It's what did you call it, Mikey? Not harmless fun. It was
harmless madness.
Harmless madness, yeah, and that's what it was right there. So that's kind of how the book mostly came together, and like some of my favorite, like one of my favorite parts. What are your guys' favorite parts of it?
My favorite part got taken out of the book.
All right. Well, here we go. All right. Okay, so. I knew this was gonna come up. Casey, you can just roll with it. Tell us what your favorite part was that literally got cut out of the book.
My favorite part of the book. So there's a scene where it says, I saw a girl's shoulders, such immodesty. Doesn't she know what her clothes say to everyone? This just proves everyone is a sinner but me. And so Steve's in the back, just looking at this girl who's got just a spaghetti strap on, and her bra strap is sticking out, and she's just wearing a tank top, and she's like sweating. And Steve was just looking at her and judging her. But originally I drew him with a little slow dance chub.
You drew a boner.
I drew a boner. Coming through his pants, there's a little peeker.
And I didn't know he did this. Like I got the image, and I was like, "What is this?" And
believe me, it's incredible.
I was just like, "I am not letting this stay." And so
I can't wait until we sell 1,000 copies so we can release the boner edition.
I also
put back in the boner. # put in the boner.
Oh my gosh. I also promised Casey if we sell a ton of these, I'm guessing 1,000 is a number I might have said. If we sell 1,000 of these, I will release a special edition called the Boner Edition. Where
and that's the one we want, everyone.
And it will have the boner in it.
It's a whole new level of magic. You just
yes.
You got to look at the page. Oh, these aren't. Yeah, you got to look at the page. It's the one where he's judging the girl, and you got to just look at it. Imagine it with boner. It's so much. Oh, it's great. It's
wonderful. Wait, is this is the page where it's like the sun shining and she's like,
I had you Photoshop out the boner.
I remember photoshopping the boner. I remember I didn't even see it.
The phrasing on this is getting
Mark is like, yeah, he's like, I want you to like change it so it doesn't look like a boner. So I have this giant, like, zoomed in, drawn boner that's taking up my full screen, and I'm like, I don't know I don't know how to do it. So I zoom out, and I'm like, oh, not enough, and I have to zoom back in, and I have to like adjust it a little bit more.
Look at the
be
chaos
clear,
you
it's
created because
to be
you
clear,
could.
it's not just like a penis just hanging out of his pants. It's
No,
like a
no.
bulge in his pants. Like, let's be
Bulge, there
clear
you
about what it is.
Mikey, your favorite part of the book? But besides the little Easter egg party thing, do you have a favorite part of the book?
I do. This, I say that this book speaks to my soul because
Aw.
there is, I think it's towards the beginning, there is this drawing, very well done. It has so much detail in it, and it's very intricate. It has Steve standing on a mountain looking over the city. Am I on the right?
Yeah. That's page 2.
So, so this, I've done this, but I've been the opposite of Steve, where I'm up on this mountain. I do this hike because I'm like, I cannot take Provo anymore. And I go on this hike, and I'm overlooking the city thinking, you're the worst. And so when I saw that page, I was like, oh, I wonder what the dialogue has to do with this. And I'm thinking like, oh, it's gonna be like similar to my experience where I'm like, I cannot handle this. I just have to get a break. That's why I'm way the freak over here. And then I saw the dialogue, and I was like, oh, well, kind of the opposite, but still really beautiful, and it still speaks to my soul. So I think that was my favorite, where it was like the city itself. There's a lot of detail in there. I remember coloring that in, thinking, wow, this must have taken a while.
Yeah, and little details in this book are what make it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite details is, it's one where they're in the apartment, and Steve's like judging his roommates, and there's like pictures of like the Mormon prophets known as like the first presidency on the wall, a picture of Jesus, and they're not. And the thing is, it's like they're kind of like not like blurred, but just like they're there, and the shapes are there, like the circles and things like that. But you wouldn't know what they were unless like you lived in Provo or were Mormon.
Yes.
Right. But they're very like iconic Mormon
Yes.
pictures. Just seeing the shapes, you'd recognize and know exactly what painting it is.
Totally.
I did. Yep.
So, let me see. I got some announcements about the book, but before I get into like these like big announcements, do you guys have anything else like you want to say?
Not really. I mean, I had a blast working on this, and I think what surprised me most about showing this to friends, family, colleagues, just other people, is a note that not like a note, but it's like a compliment, I guess, is that people have read it and they said that the humor is in good taste and it's not offensive, but it's very accurate to a lot of people's experience, which I think is telling and is very, I don't know, it kind of gives the world of Provo, Utah, a little transparency, I think.
Yeah.
Well said.
Mikey, you got anything before I get into this little announcements?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna try and say something like that, but I don't know if I can say anything that.
Yeah, don't look at like trying to top it, or it's not a competition, man. It's not a competition.
Well, says you, Mark.
I'm gonna
win. Score over here.
Well, what I was thinking was I really liked how it struck a true chord. Like it really was like there were. I feel like it was exaggerated in a lot of ways, and that's what makes it so comical. But I think there were other truths in there that have totally happened to certain people. I know I could probably think of a handful today, but
Yeah.
it's I like how well it was carried out, how harmless, but still it was just it really pointed out some subtle truths. And yeah, just like how you said, Casey, where it was like it gave Provo a transparency. I like that. There's a this culture that you're either in it or you are out of it, and it's ragging on you and it's really weighing on you. Um, at least that was my experience.
It's like you're either in or you're an outcast.
Yeah, it's like you're not in or out, it's you're in or outcast. Yeah, very well said.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
So, and just
Well, actually,
oh,
wait,
go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I do want to point out there's in the book there's a scene where he drives his friends to the movie theaters
Yeah.
and he's outside of the theater. So I drew that based off of an actual movie theater that is in Provo, but they just tore it down.
Yeah.
It's no longer there. So I feel like people won't. I don't know. I feel like people still know exactly where that's at and what theater that is. It's the Dollar Theater.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I feel like that's like a staple that's gone. It
And
kind of
that's
sucks.
yeah, that's unfortunate.
The staple lives
Um,
on in the book. You got history now. It just makes it more valuable.
Yes.
Right.
One thing I want to mention, and this is both off of what you guys both said. So you talk about the scenarios that happened in the book. A lot of them happened to me or I saw. Not like there was a kid on BYU campus with a beard who had a eulogy for his mom. Nothing like specific like that. But I had a roommate, or a series of roommates who would be judging our other roommate for having girls in their room, and they would like draft letters, like actually draft letters to BYU housing and the bishop. Like that's real things that I saw with real people.
And that's like against so to have like a person of the opposite sex inside your private bedroom is completely against the rules there
Yeah,
because
and
they don't treat you like an adult.
exactly,
So
and
you get snitched on and you're screwed.
exactly, and it's kind of a big brother is always watching, but instead of like video surveillance, it's like the quote honor code police. The
Right.
people that take it upon themselves to report their friends, but like the kids drafting email to their bishop and campus housing, I saw that a lot, and it was kind of freaky. I mean, it's funny until you live like it's funny at first, but then like when you're living with them and you reflect on this, you're like, oh my gosh, this is really disturbing. And people judging for rated R movies, like a couple of my friends, one of them, Merlin, for example, he would go home to his apartment after watching a rated R movie with me. And his roommate would ask him like straight up, like, "Hey, did you go watch a rated R movie with Mark?" He goes, "Yeah." And it's like to anyone else, a rated R movie would not matter, but to the culture of Provo, Utah, it does. And the guy would just start shaking his head,
Oh,
and it's
boy.
just so ridiculous.
Right. Like at that point, like watching a rated R film, like however bad the movie was, it's like it's not nearly on the same level as like you hurting someone mentally or physically, So I don't know, but I feel like reactions are taken in that level
Yeah,
of just
yeah.
absurdity.
And so a lot of the Steve is a combination of a lot of people that I actually encountered in Provo.
Right.
And I mean, all those interactions, even the interaction of what I originally wanted to do for one thing was there's a thing where people are passing around like the Holy Sacrament. or communion if you're Catholic, that type of thing. And I originally wanted to have a scene where someone is reaching towards the sacrament, and then Steve's like pulling the tray away. And Casey didn't want to do that. He opted for something else, which totally fine. But I've actually seen that type of thing happen.
Oh, really? Like someone is actually like just pulled it away from someone?
Just pulls it away from someone while they're reaching towards it. And I mean, it's and like if you're Mormon, in the Mormon church, like that right there, it's like you're taking that to like receive forgiveness as part of the process. And so for someone to just be like and just deny you because they feel like it, kind of a terrible thing to do.
Right.
And anyway, so yeah, Steve's based off of like real people, and a lot, and the stuff. This is real stuff that happened. I took that and I just distilled it down. And the sad thing is, there was more that we just didn't throw into the book.
Yeah, like we said, there was like twice as much, right?
Twice as much. So just interesting tidbits and trivia there. So we got some announcements. We got some good stuff.
Okay, let's hear what we got.
There's some great stuff. I hope everyone listens to the show frequently, because the show, it's going to be right now. I do all the shows pre-recorded, right? And so in about 2 weeks, the show will air on November 28th. And for those who are listening on Amazon.com, we have the book as a Kindle version right now. But for this week only, from November 28th through December 2nd, from like this Tuesday, today, until Saturday the 2nd, the book is literally going to be free.
100% free?
100% free.
That's awesome.
Straight up.
That's sweet. That's
great.
Wow.
I went through, I worked it with Amazon. Should all go through. If it doesn't, don't sue me. But it is set up to do that right now. And I'm really excited because I want everyone to have a copy of this. And I want to like give the loyal listeners some a reward for listening to me all those years. I mean, granted, I'm providing you with free entertainment, freeloader, but that's beside. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. But I want to give them something for being loyal fans, and for those that listen to the show, like when it comes out on a weekly basis. So we're going to have it free from today, Tuesday the 28th when this airs, until Saturday, December 2nd. And another thing I would love, you don't have to do this, but it would really help me out, is I would love some creative reviews for the book.
Just get it for free, review it.
Yeah, creative reviews are like the best. Some really, really amazing ones that people were doing like when the book came out. And I'm gonna look one of these up. But
wait, when is this gonna air?
This I just said 2 weeks from now, November 28th.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
I was not listening.
So yeah. Oh, the other thing, if you have Kindle Unlimited, the book is already free. Interestingly enough. And the other thing is we have a hardbound copy of this book, but Amazon kind of usually these don't last very long, the hardbound copies. They don't keep many in stock. So they're kind of always reordering, but right now they have some in stock for Prime membership. So that's good.
Great.
But some of these 5-star reviews are really good. Some of my favorite ones. Oh my gosh. I'll put this one. This is from one of Casey's friends. This is from James, and he says, when my wife reflects back on her college days in Utah County, she talks about this type of persons that is often found lurking in singles wards, fresh off the mission and far too confident, and how little they sin during the day. As an active member of the LDS Church, this reminds me of what not to do. Judgment is the Lord's chore, not ours. I'm finally happy someone is shining a light on the attitude of that college town. It needs to change. And the best part is like with all of these, there's like all the helpful upvotes for everyone, like that, like left reviews as well. So it's like, I don't know, they're all like good reviews and they're all helpful. And so I'm really like happy about that.
Awesome.
Great.
So yeah. So anyway, the book will, be on sale for free from November 28th to December 2nd. And yeah, after that, you got to pay for it again. So after that, it'll go back to being, $7.99 on Kindle, $12.99 for a hardbound copy. Yeah. Anyway, that's our show. I want to thank Casey William Walker and Mikey Watkins for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, greatly appreciated. And until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the MCS1 Show. For bi-weekly episodes on society and counterculture, subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. For regular updates, show notes, and links, head to the mcs1show.com or search AOL keyword MCS1.
Okay, we're good.
Great.
Thanks a ton, guys. I'm really excited about this.
This was fun.
Yeah, me too. That was great.
Yeah.
Great time.
Yeah. If you guys ever want to come on the show again, you're always welcome to. Casey, if you're interested, I got a special show for you.
You do.
I do. That? I got a breaking BYU follow-up.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I got notes on what happened afterward to the kid, and with meth soap lab, and all that fun stuff. So if you ever want to do one again, or you got time, I got them all punched up. I'm ready to go whenever you are.
Oh, great.
So yeah. So I think that'd be awesome.
Let's set something up for sure. I'd love to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So once again,
yeah, I gotta go. I gotta talk to this other guy I'm doing another podcast with. So.
Oh, okay. Send me information about that. I'll listen to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Is it a movie podcast?
Yeah, it is a movie podcast. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can tell them how much you love Iron Man 3. I know. All right, later, Casey.
All right.
Yeah. Bye, Casey.
Bye, Mikey.
Oh, thanks again, Mikey.
No problem. How do I exit this?
You don't. You're here forever. Down at the phone for voice connected, there's a thing that says disconnect. Also, if you're ever interested, just to let you know, Dooley and Kelsey also have Discord. If you ever want to chat with them, I know you have texting, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So you guys play
a video game channel, kind of, that we use, and I'm actually working on reworking it into being the new MCS1 show channel for like a couple other things too. They don't know that, but but yeah, it also works for a bunch. I think right now, because when I'm not in it, they will play video games in it too. Like, so they use my channel to play video games and talk to each other without me. In fact, Cameron, Merlin, and Kelsey are using it right now, literally as we speak.
Kelsey is so dang cool.
She is. She's really cool. She's really cool. It's so funny that I play video games with her more than her husband. But anyway, I can pop you an invite. Also, Discord has like an app for your phone too, and like and a desktop client, because I use it to chat with people like while I'm on a desktop or whatever. That way, I'm not always look like I'm looking at my phone. So, but I'll send you the link to this channel if you want to go in there and ever chat with them or drop into the voice chat or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. All right, I will catch you later.
All right, bye.